Alright guys, as expected in yesterday's video, we didn't see the breakout that Bitcoin needed to see. I said in yesterday's video, it's pretty unlikely we see a breakout. Now, the interesting thing about it is this. Look, we actually did break out on the shorter term. If we go to the hourly chart here, we look at this dotted line, which of course is the triangle itself. We did break out. In fact, we had two separate breakouts. We had two separate fakeouts, I'll call them, above the line for a total of about 4 hours, just under 4 hours in total. It's weird, okay? I will say that. It's weird how he did that. Now, I have some reasons why I think that happened. These are reasons that I posted in yesterday's community post. And one of the reasons was UK CPI. UK CPI is coming out in literally probably 2 hours by the time this video releases. And UK CPI, yeah, it's not the biggest deal. However, in the past, it has affected price action. If we look at the last UK CPI release, we can go ahead and do that right now, actually. And here we are back at the 14th of September. UK CPI was released again, just like this time, right? At the top of the triangle, it released and we saw a massive capitulation. You see that? Let's go to the daily chart and actually analyze that, because this is a pretty interesting thing, right? It's UK CPIs are doing a lot more than people would generally expect. That was the UK CPI release date. And the day it released, we dumped, right? And we actually tested the triangle the day before, just like what we're doing now. So look, if we follow last month's pattern, we could be seeing a big drop here today. We'll see. Obviously, it depends on what the number is, but UK CPI is not something to be stuffed around with, okay? It actually does affect price action as seen by last month. And that's probably the reason, in my opinion, that's the reason we saw a fake out. Now, we were going to see a rejection regardless, in my opinion, because we haven't seen Q4 yet. Well, we are in Q4 right now, but as per the 4-year cycle theory, I'm expecting a Q4 bottom. And as of right now, the bottom was in June. Okay, so I'm expecting us to come down to the bottom again, at least retest 17.6k. You guys know this by now. I'm not going to repeat myself again. But yeah, I'm expecting a Q4 bottom. And of course, we haven't seen that yet. So I was expecting a rejection off of this triangle naturally. But it's just interesting that UK CPI is having so much an effect in the market, and, you know, as seen by last month and as potentially seen by right now in that rejection there and in that fake out there, because that's irrational price action. And when there's irrational price action, right, we saw a breakout, we didn't break through. And when there's irrational price action like that, and there's generally a reason for it. I think UK CPI is the reason for that. I also think that the fact that this line exists, right, and is so prominent, because this line very well could confirm a double bottom formation, right? We've said this before. If we break this dotted line, break this triangle to the upside, I'm buying, right? Because on a 3-day candle close, that is. It's a 3-day resistance line, so on a 3-day candle, if we break it, I buy. And the reason being is because if we break that, that's the resistance cleared, and that means that wasn't, in fact, a double bottom formation, and hence we can go upwards. Now, I don't know if that would reverse the macro trend. The macro trend would be reversed at 28.6k, in my opinion, which is this pink line here. But I think it would very well do a lot for a short-term swing, at least, or a medium-term swing, up to 28.6. But yeah, that's not happening right now. And it's not surprising, right? Because a Q4 bottom, as per the 4-year cycle, that's what we're predicting. And yeah, I'm not surprised at all that we didn't break through there. And ultimately, that's just the video. But I want to just reiterate a few things as well. You know, there's a few other reasons why we didn't see this breakthrough we covered yesterday. And I think a lot of people got bullish too soon, just like usual. Everyone's telling, not everyone, but a lot of people are saying, oh, you need to buy now. If you don't buy now, you're going to buy at 30k. It's like, no, we have a buying plan, and our buying plan is very clear. And you can pause the video here to see our 3 scenarios here. I think the middle scenario is the most likely, but these are our 3 scenarios, the 3 possibilities. And even on the worst case scenario, even in the buying plan when we buy the highest, which is the third one, we'll still have an average price in Bitcoin at like 21k. So we're in a great position, guys. I just want to reiterate that again. We're in a really good position right now. There's no scenario in which we get a bad average price on Bitcoin. So good job to us. But yeah, that's essentially that. But I want to say as well, there's other reasons why we didn't see this breakthrough. And there's other reasons to suspect that we might be going a lot further down on Bitcoin, at least to 17.6k, and within the month, by the way, because this triangle reaches an apex at the end of October, right? So we will be breaking down or upwards at the end of October. I think break downwards. I think what we'll see, I covered this 2 videos ago, I think the most likely thing we'll see is a breakdown, but we won't go as down as much as people expect. So we'll break down, we might go below 17.6, but we'll bottom out at something random like 16k, because the market loves to do that, right? It loves to do that. There's no surprise to you guys. Everyone knows this who's been in crypto for a while, and in stocks in general. The market loves to do things that people don't expect. So I think we will see the breakdown, right? And I think people, when we break down, will be like, all right, yeah, 13k, 11k. But I think we'll just troll everyone, and we'll go below 17.6, and we'll bottom out at like 17 or something random like that. It's not really a prediction, it's just kind of speculation, but that's generally what happens. I do see this level here holding as most likely on a general weekly chart basis. I do see 17.6k holding on a weekly chart basis. That's what I see personally. Now, I have covered before. There definitely are scenarios in which we go down lower, which is why I have them in my buying plan. But I just do see the double bottom formation as most likely here. But yeah, that triangle's ending in October. What I would like to say as well, I just want to talk quickly about DXY. I want to briefly interrupt this video to talk about the BitGet exchange. Now, the BitGet exchange has 5 times lower fees than Binance, which is commonly referred to as the cheapest exchange in the cryptocurrency market. It's also non-KYC or voluntarily KYC, so you can stay true to the fundamental values of cryptocurrency, one of which being anonymity, of course. It's also got a security fund in there, so if you lose your funds by fault of the exchange or by personal fault, you can make a claim and actually retrieve your funds back. On top of all of this, if you sign up using my referral link, you can get access to exclusive discounts and rewards. This is the best exchange on the cryptocurrency market, and I use it personally, and so should everyone at the Wolves of Crypto YouTube channel. Now, if you're interested in actually learning how to trade for yourself, you can check out the Crypto Academy via the website link in the description below. This is a course developed by myself and Megawell Crypto, a 10-unit course taking you through every single step from step 1 to step infinite about how to become a trader. Go ahead and check that out and chuck us an email at cryptoacademycourses@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you with the full information and payment information if you're interested. Thanks guys for watching the advertisements. Let's get back into the video, because this is interesting. A lot of people are talking about DXY and how it's potentially topped out. Now, from a TA perspective, it does look like the DXY could actually be topped out. Now, it's not driven by TA, that's the thing, but from a TA perspective, it does. Look, this line here stemming from 2005, actually 2004, all the way through, we saw a retest of it, and we will likely see a rejection, at least in the short term. We're already seeing a rejection in the short term. That could be the top. However, we can't deny interest rates are still rising, whatever, all this stuff's still going on, bond yields are still going up. So look, it's kind of a little bit too early to call whether DXY is actually topped out. I think it will continue going higher. I think it will defy the odds here and go higher. But I do think, and this is interesting, and this is a controversial opinion, I suppose, I do think inflation has topped out, okay? Each one of these yellow lines on the inflation chart represents the S&P 500 bottom. And yeah, inflation, generally speaking, when it tops out, that's an area in which the S&P 500 will bottom. Now, with that said, I don't think the S&P 500 will bottom for at least 6 months. I think the S&P has a lot further down to go. And the reason being, regardless of inflation, is that interest rates are actually what determines where the S&P 500 goes. And what you can see right now is that each one of these yellow lines again represents an S&P 500 bottom in the past. And so, generally speaking, actually in every single scenario, we only bottom out in the S&P when interest rates are going down. And interest rates are still rising, and they still have intentions to rise for at least 3 months, and then they'll probably level out for at least 3 months, and then they might start going down from there mid-next year sometime. So I don't think the S&P will bottom out until mid-next year, but I don't see that as a reason for Bitcoin not to bottom out. Covered that a lot in the past. I really don't. I think Bitcoin will bottom before the S&P in the same way that Bitcoin topped before the S&P in the last bull market. But what I will say is that inflation, in my opinion, has topped out, okay? I think oil prices are on the way down here. It's very clear, actually. They're on the way down from the peak in June. And actually, the inflation peak was in June, and oil prices topped in June, and oil prices have no signs of recovery at this point. I know people say, oh, there's new policy coming in, whatever, they're going to go back up. But, again, I have to go off the charts. I don't see evidence of that at this point in time. And I think policy is very unreliable. I mean, as proven by every single policy ever. But what I will say is that, yes, I think inflation has topped out. I think interest rates, if not have done their part, we are doing their part right now. I don't see inflation rising again. Look, and you can look at the last CPI release as evidence for that. The CPI was meant to come in last month at 8.1%, and it came in at 8.2%, and everyone got crazy, but they don't realize inflation topped at like 9.1%. It's down almost a full percent from its all-time high. I don't think inflation's going back up. I think inflation has topped out for sure. And even in that last CPI release, everyone was panicking and saying bearish stuff, but it still went down 0.1% month on month. So, inflation, in my opinion, is going down, but unfortunately, inflation isn't a very big determining factor of where the S&P goes or where Bitcoin goes, unfortunately. It is, however, a sign for the Fed to maybe slow down on rate hikes, and this is where it comes into play, right? Because obviously the S&P 500 probably won't bottom out until rates are going down, but the fact that inflation is topping out and going downwards means they're probably going to do that sooner than expected. So yeah, that's good news, I suppose, in the macro. I don't see, the macro is bad, obviously. The Bitcoin macro, the Bitcoin longer time frame before your cycle theory, I see it as completely valid. Nothing wrong with that at this point. In fact, I've said it before, I'll say it again. If I went back 2 years before any of this happened, I had no idea what was going to happen in 2022. I had no idea if there was going to be a recession. And I looked at this chart, I'd say, that looks normal. This is normal. This is a normal bear market for Bitcoin. And I see no reason why the Q4 bottom won't take place. I know I'm just reiterating a bunch of points in this video. here today, but I want to just cover that main fresh point. We did see a rejection. It was not a breakout. That's not a buying signal as expected. And we do have UK CPI in about 2 hours. Those are the main points. Everything else is just clarifying. And we'll catch you in the next video, guys. Cheers.